Good morning, gamers. Welcome back to another daily wrap-up. We've got quite a bit to go over. We've got some interesting discussions happening about Spider-Man 2, especially after the team has been talking back and forth on Twitter. We also have an update with Square Enix and their financial report and what could be happening there. And lastly, we're going to be talking about Armored Core 6. Yes, that is a highly anticipated game. I definitely wanted to do some coverage on that one. Now, quickly, before we jump into that, I do want to address one thing. I saw that I hurt some feelings with the Forspoken topic. Understand that I am happy for anyone who does enjoy Forspoken. I'm not trying to take happiness away from you or telling you not to enjoy the game. I was simply just giving my opinion and stating my observations. And if that upsets you, my apologies. But at the same time, guys, come on, we have to be able to have opinions and differing opinions and still respect each other. But yeah, there's that, and that's, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm probably never going to talk about this again. Other than that, if you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Please like, helps the video a lot, and share the video too. It does really go a long way. We are on the road to 10K subs. Now let's talk about the Spider-Man 2 interaction. So we got the voice actors talking with each other, right? So we got Tony Todd, and he's saying that Venom rules, Spider-Man 2, beware, say my name. And then Yuri Lowenthal says, yeah, he does. And then Tony Todd says, how many times our mind be intertwined, love and respect for this. I think a little bit of typo on that one, but yeah. And then also says Dragon's Blood Netflix. And then we also had Miles' voice actor say they are not ready for what's to come. Quote tweeting Yuri Lowenthal's, yeah, he does. And where am I going with this, right? Like some people might be like, well, what's the big deal? What, like, okay, they're interacting with each other. Oh no, what's so surprising and amazing about that? It ended up becoming a discussion on Reddit. And one Redditor made a statement, and it really like kind of vibed with me. I was like, oh, this actually kind of makes sense. And what they had said, first of all, the name of the Redditor is Carlos Vigilante. So first of all, I want to give credit. And they talked about two possible scenarios because the idea was that this was some sort of hint or teasing towards something. And naturally, everybody who sees this is just going to be like, okay, it's just the voice actors talking with each other, which is fair, right? Like that's kind of my observation as well. But as I was reading through this Reddit page, I see a scenario that Carlos points out. And they say, scenario 2 is that we're getting a Spider-Man 2 trailer this weekend during the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, next Sunday. So the 12th, I believe it is, of February. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. It would make a ton of sense for Sony to do a Spider-Man 2 trailer, a brand new trailer at the Super Bowl. It's a massive event. A lot of people watch it, not just sporting fans, but people who enjoy the commercials and people who enjoy the halftime show, right? So Spider-Man 2, a trailer being there would make a big impact. And it actually would make a lot of sense. And I feel like it would be a good move for them to do that because we know that I really don't see them doing a showcase this month or next month. I don't know when they're going to do a showcase, to be quite honest. But I do think that if they want to show off some Spider-Man 2, which they've confirmed that is coming out 2023, they confirmed the season, which is the fall, it would be nice to see a trailer soon, and where better than the Super Bowl? And I understand that like a lot of gamers probably don't care that much about football and the Super Bowl. I mean, I personally don't, but we can't deny the amount of eyes that are on that sporting event. So it's just something that does make a lot of sense, at least to me. And maybe I'm out of like wrong about it, but I don't know. In reading this and thinking about it and how Sony is really going with these massive marketing things, you know, with the big PS5 in Dubai, all sorts of stuff happening around the world to, you know, advertise the PlayStation 5, this would be a massive way to advertise Spider-Man 2, which is a PS5 exclusive. So I don't know. For me, it connects really well, but this is where I would love to get your guys' input. Am I out of my mind for thinking that this could be a possibility, or does this make a lot of sense for you guys as well? Please let me know in the comments about this one, because honestly, I'm really thinking that this makes a lot of sense. But that's why I personally feel that there could be a Super Bowl commercial for Spider-Man 2. We'll see what happens. I mean, it could be small, it could be large, we don't know, or it could be nothing at all, but I feel like it's plausible. Let me know what you guys think. Next, we were talking about Square Enix. They had a financial result revealed for the first 9 months of the fiscal year, and it's related to the period between April and December of 2022. They reported that sales were down 6.6% year-on-year. Operating income was down 17.6% year-on-year as well. So they are down quite a bit, but they have a lot of good games coming up. So they have Final Fantasy 16, right? And obviously they have 7 Remake to a degree as well. I believe its Rebirth is either coming out end of this year. I think it's more than likely going to be next year, at best next year. And I think those will definitely help with the sales numbers. There have not been a new MMO expansion for Final Fantasy 14, so that was actually down as well. But that's okay because, you know, Endwalker was like insanely successful and profitable. So I think once they do drop another expansion, we could definitely see that skyrocket again, as 14 is supported heavily, has a huge fan base, and anytime they seem to drop an expansion, it goes crazy. But what I want to discuss here more than anything is a statement here. And it says, we hear that Square Enix has multiple new titles planned, including titles featuring new IP for the HD games segment. Although expansions are planned for the MMO segment in the short term, the company will focus on retaining users through a variety of operational initiatives. As for browser and smartphone games, the company has additional titles slated for launch in Q4 and beyond. So the biggest thing that's pointing out to me here is that they have featured new IP for their HD games segment. So there's new IP allegedly that we're going to be seeing. I don't know if that's gonna be shown this year or next year, but we just know that they are working on multiple new titles here. And so the hope is that we do still see new IP, and we still see a lot of new stuff come from Square Enix. As a huge Square Enix fan, that's really what I want. But we'll see what happens. I think the sales numbers will be a lot better once Final Fantasy 16 come out, Rebirth comes out, and whatever else they got going on. Obviously, their biggest sellers are their Final Fantasy games, including their 14 MMO, and then 7 is a pretty big seller right now for them as well. So really exciting stuff in terms of what the future holds for Square Enix. But yeah, apparently they weren't doing too hot with this financial result that they have. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that kind of wraps that up with Square Enix. Now, lastly, I want to talk to you guys about Armored Core 6. Okay, so in a new interview conducted at the Taipei game show, Armored Core 6 producer Yasunori Ogura provided some more details about the game. Miyazaki is apparently acting as initial game director, and that involved him getting the game off on the right foot before handing it off to others. So that's reassuring, saying, hey, you know, somebody with a reputation, let's put it that way, is getting a game off on the right foot. That's like the greatest thing you can ask for. So he does have some involvement, not in the way he does with Souls games, but with this game, he does have some involvement. And then in quotes, he says, his title for this game is Initial Game Director, which means he directed the initial phases of the game's development. Obviously, he didn't do that alone, but he worked together with people like Kenneth Chan, co-director and producer of Fires of Rubicon, as well as a range of other developers to establish the game's foundation. This includes such elements as map design, action fundamentals, and other core elements at the game's heart. So the idea is that there will be a bit of challenge in this game, but they also say that if you customize your mechs really well, that may get rid of some of the difficulty. But yeah, so the boss design might be something that's reminiscent to Souls games, in the sense that there's a lot of detail when fighting them and things you have to look closely at in order to combat them, which I think could be interesting and could definitely get more people involved, especially Souls fans. Now, it's important to note that it is a different game from a Souls game. It's not a Souls game. Armored Core 6 is very different from that, but having those little bits of what makes Souls games great could make this interesting as well. We'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what Armored Core 6 is like, but until we actually get our hands on it, it's hard to say whether it'll be something that we all love or if it'll be something that we all enjoy, right? It's hard to say until we actually play the game or see more of the game at the very least. But I'm very intrigued and I'm very interested. But that is all we have for today. That's kind of a short one for today. I mean, the weekends is kind of slow usually, but I wanted to talk about these things anyway. So there it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this whole Spider-Man situation. Do we see a Super Bowl commercial? Do we not see a Super Bowl commercial? Do we see a state of play? Let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about Square Enix's earnings report being down and the idea that they'll be making new games and new IP coming soon? I hope. We'll see what happens. And what do you think of Armored Core 6 and the details that we have about that game? As always, if you have not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Share the video. It really does go a long way when you share the video. And as always, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description. Thank you all for watching. I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care.